Hi, everybody, and welcome to the April 2022 SBIF Rollout webinar. We'll be getting started in just a moment. As a reminder, everybody will be receiving an email with a copy of this presentation afterwards. Additionally, if you have any questions at any time, feel free to put them in the Q&A box below and we can respond that way. We'll get started in just a moment. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SBIF April 2022 district rollout. We'll be getting started in just a moment. Please make sure that if you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A box below, and you will be receiving an email with a copy of the presentation after we are wrapped up today. And I think with that, I'm going to get started here. Again, so this is Kim Brisky. I work with Summer Corps. We are the administrator of the SBIF grant on behalf of the city of Chicago. Today, we're going to be talking about the districts that are rolling out for April of 2022. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to Nora Curry with the Department of Planning Development to give a few more details. Thanks.
Thanks, Kim. And hi, my name is Nora Curry. I'm the program director for the SBIF program for the Department of Planning and Development. We're so glad that you're joining us today. Summer Corps is contracted by the Department of Planning and Development to administer the Small Business Improvement Fund, the SBIF program, and they'll be making the presentation today. I just wanted to welcome you. The SBIF program provides grants to small businesses and property owners to make needed improvements to your properties. And we are in the middle of a 3-year initiative that we're very excited about. We, at the beginning of 2021, received new funding from city councils, which was our largest in our 20-year history, over $60 million in 60 tax increment financing districts across the city of Chicago. And we also implemented a number of new program improvements, including increasing the grant maximums we could offer up to $150,000 for commercial projects, up to $250,000 for industrial projects. We also increased the amount that we can reimburse projects up to 90% of eligible project costs. We're also offering more assistance than we ever have before for projects. LaTanya will actually be making the presentation today on behalf of Summer Corps and the SBIF program, and I will move on to her and let her tell you more about the enhancements in the program as a whole. But we are very happy you're joining us today and look forward to working with you on the SBIF program. Thanks so much, LaTanya.
Thank you again, Nora. My name is LaTanya Jones. I am the Deputy Program Director of the Small Business Improvement Fund Grant Program. I work for Summer Corps, which is a certified small business lender. We administer the 504 loans as well as the City of Chicago's SBIF program and the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund program. Today, we will be discussing the eligibility requirements of the program and what you can expect going through this process. The SBIF program is one of the largest running programs. We've helped disperse over $105 million in grants to over 1,400 businesses throughout most of the neighborhoods in Chicago. Please note that this is a program, a non-residential program. The grant does not cover working capital or operating expenses. It's specifically for structural related repairs. Thank you for joining us today. Let's get started with today's presentation. Here's the overview of what we will be discussing today during this presentation. We will explain what the SBIF program is about, how you can determine if your property and business is located in a SBIF district, which districts are open and on deck, the program rules, how you can go about applying and what does the program timeline look like, what resources are available to help you, provide you with information on the April rollouts along with an example project. We will cover frequently asked questions and we'll conclude with additional questions and answers. During this part of the presentation, we're going to have a SBIF grantee testimonial. I'm going to hand it over to Guadalupe Surianis, who is the owner of Eshell Gelato and Frozen Pops, located within the Jefferson Park TIF district. She will talk about her previous experience with the SBIF program.
Hi, thank you all. Thank you for allowing me to share my success story. I opened my gelato shop in 2019. It's seasonal, so at the end of the year we closed. As you all know, in 2020 we got hit with the pandemic, and with it came restrictions. So we were forced to service our customers at the door. So we were lucky enough to be awarded this grant. What we did with the money, we installed the Dutch door, we installed lighting, an awning, and a hands-free automatic door opener. So we were able to, as best as we could, function and operate our business under these restrictions. So we were also very lucky to receive a second grant last year, and with that we installed a much needed light sign because our shop sits in the back. We were definitely kind of hidden, so this light sign that went up last year can come at a better time really. And we also got some interior shutters, and that also would give us a new level of protection, security protection. The person that was assigned to review my application, she was extremely attentive and made the whole process really manageable for me during these times. I mean, the most difficult time, I think, or the most difficult in going through the application was getting the estimates from the contractors. So, I wish all of you would take advantage of this fantastic program. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it really is. So, if anything, it really helped me through, the pandemic restrictions and some just hard times going on. I'm sure all of us had experienced that on the last few years. So, that's all I have to say. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate you sharing your experience with us.
Yeah, if any of your listeners have any questions, I'm here to answer them with my experience with the application.
Okay, so, absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Do you want me to not close out, but turn off my video?
Yes, you'll be fine. Yep.
Okay. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Since 1999, the Small Business Improvement Fund has been helping small businesses and landlords with reimbursable grants to assist with permanent building improvements. Please note that residential projects are not eligible through this program. The SBIF grant uses tax increment financing revenue to reimburse grantees for pre-approved rehab or repairs of their business facilities and adjacent land acquisition. Summer Court is the program administrator and is contracted by the Chicago's Department of Planning and Development. In order to be eligible for this program, your property must be located in the TIF district where SBIF funds are available and the district is authorized to accepting applications. Eligible applicants can be landlords of commercial or industrial properties, commercial or industrial business owners who either own or lease their place of business. Tenants are eligible, but they must have prior written approval from the property owner. Startups are eligible, but they must provide us with a business plan, and Chicago business license will be required prior to final disbursement. Eligibility limits, depending on where you fall as an applicant, will determine the eligible limits that you may fall within. For a commercial tenant or owner occupied, the average gross sales per year must be less than 9 million. For a landlord of a commercial or industrial property, the net worth must be less than 9 million cumulative amongst all owners, and each individual must fall under the 500,000 liquidity asset requirement. If one individual exceeds the 500,000 liquidity requirement, your application will not be eligible for the program. For an industrial tenant or owner occupied, you have to have 200 or fewer full-time employees. And if you own the business and the property, you are subject to both the tenant and landlord requirements. The maximum grant allowed under SBIF are as follows: 250,000 per industrial property, 150,000 per single owner or tenant of a commercial property or landlord, and 250,000 for a multi-tenant property, with the understanding that each tenant and landlord is eligible to receive a maximum of 75,000. Please note that applicants may receive one or more grants up to the maximum program assistance. Once the maximum is reached, the applicant will need to wait 3 years to reapply. Percent of eligible project costs can be reimbursed if the business sales or net worth falls between 0 to 3 million. You'll be eligible for 90% reimbursement of the eligible costs. If it falls within 3 to 6 million, you will be eligible to receive 60% reimbursement. And if it falls within 6 to 9 million, you will be eligible to receive 30% reimbursement. And for all industrial projects, you are eligible to receive 50% reimbursement of the eligible costs. To better help you understand the calculation of this program, here is a SBIF grant calculation example. Grace submits an application for a SBIF grant in an open district with a total eligible program project cost of 100,000. She is proposing to make a permanent building improvements to her existing retail shop, for which she is the tenant. Grace has been in business for 5 years, and over the last 3 years, her gross sales averaged at 1.5 million. The breakout of the eligible cost is as follows. With the total eligible project cost being 100,000, she is a commercial tenant applicant and her gross sales is under 3 million. Therefore, she can receive up to 90% reimbursement. The city's responsibility is 90%, which totals 90,000, and the applicant responsibility is at 10%, which totals 10,000. In order to determine if your business or property is located in a SBIF district, please visit our website at summercore.com/SBIF for assistance. Once you get to the website, you will scroll down until you see Get Started and select number 1, which takes you to the SBIF Locator tool, where you can enter your property address. Once you enter your address, it will let you know if your property is eligible provides you with the name of the SBIF district of where your property is located and when the district is scheduled to open for new applications. It will also provide you with a list of delegate agencies for your area that can assist you. Eligible SBIF districts in Chicago span across neighborhoods on the north, south, and west sides. Each month marks a 30-day period in which SBIF districts with available funds open for applications. Notice of districts openings are provided to the relevant aldermen, posted on the DPD and Summer Corps websites, and included in the monthly SBIFgrams. Please visit our website to obtain a list of upcoming district openings by selecting number 2, where it says check which districts are open, and that link will take you to the list of the most up-to-date list of open and on-deck districts. Which businesses and organization types are ineligible to apply? This will consist of chains, franchises, banks, pawn shops, liquor stores, places of worship, junkyards, cigar and smoke shops, or similar uses. Please note that this is not a comprehensive list, but it will give you an idea of the type of businesses that are not eligible. If you are not clear on the, if you are unclear about your business type, please feel free to reach out to us for assistance. Okay, what type of improvements are eligible for SBIF funding? This would include roofing and facade improvements, components of the signage and awning, which is permanently affixed to the building, ADA compliance improvements such as railings and ramps, HVAC and other mechanical systems, plumbing and electrical work, certain project-related architectural and construction management fees related to the project, certain environmental remediation measures, permanent interior renovations, including fixtures, and the purchase of adjacent lot parcels for the purposes of expanding your business or a parking lot. This is not a comprehensive list, but will give you an idea of what improvements we can cover through this program. If you're unsure about whether the work items for your project are eligible, you can reach out to us. What improvement costs are ineligible for SBIF funding? This would include new construction, any standalone minor repairs or cosmetic improvements, equipment-related expenses such as kitchen appliances, computers, or office furniture, planters surrounded or affixed to the building, outdoor dining or drinking areas such as roof decks, beer gardens, outdoor patios, balconies, awnings, porches, or decks, fencing, pergolas, private screens, or similar uses, parking lot constructions or repairs, landscaping or interior work for residential units. What are the SBIF design requirements? In order to receive funding, projects must conform to the design requirements, including meeting DPD's design guidelines. This can be found on our website at summercorps.com/SBIF. Projects shall also comply with design guidelines and additional neighborhood requirements as described in guidelines, style guides, community plans, and other planning documents associated with TIF area and neighborhoods in which the property is located. Applicants are strongly advised to consult with Summer Corps and design professionals on design requirements and guidelines before drawing up plans for work. All applicants for commercial properties who are approved for a grant of $25,000 or more shall be required to make at least one exterior improvement using at least 10% of the maximum amount of their approved grant, including but not limited to facade repairs, windows, and other exterior improvements eligible subject to DPD's approval. This requirement can be waived at DPD's sole discretion if the applicant can demonstrate to DPD's satisfaction that no exterior improvements are needed because improvements have been recently completed or exterior features of the building has been well maintained and are consistent with DPD's design guidelines. What measures are in place to ensure applicants' compliance with the program rules? Checks will be performed on all applicants prior to funding to ensure they are not indebted to the city, are current on property taxes, and compliant with child support laws. Each applicant will sign an economic disclosure affidavit. Grantees will be required to sign an affidavit certifying that they will not relocate out of the TIF district or sell the business within 3-year period following disbursement of funds. In case of SBIF reimbursement for land purchase, proof of ownership will be required before reimbursement may be made. How do you go about applying? You can download a copy of the SBIF application from our website. And to apply, you must complete the application and submit via email to SBIF@summercorps.com within the designated open period. When you get to the website, you will need to click the white link here, which will take you to the PDF version of the application where you can complete the application by hand or can type in your information. What is the program timeline? In the first stage, you will be given 20 days to provide the requested information needed to complete your application to determine eligibility. Once you are deemed eligible, you are moved into stage 2, where you will have 120 days to provide us with the plans, bids, and specs of your project and cure any city debt. If you're aware of any city debt, please ensure to take care of it as soon as you can. Please note that stage 1 and 2 must be completed before final review and project approval from the Department of Planning and Development. If approved, you will receive a conditional commitment letter signaling you are able to begin construction. Once you begin construction, you will move into stage 3, where you'll be given up to 10 months to complete your project. Proof of permit or permit application concurrent with the 10-month construction phase must be submitted within 120 days following the date of the commitment letter. Also, the applicants must provide proof of sufficient funds to complete the project, which is concurrent to the 10 months and submitted within 120 days of the date of receiving their commitment letter. The applicant must prove they currently have sufficient equity to complete the project by providing at least 50% of the funds needed to cover the total project costs. Once the project is completed, you will be moved into stage 4, which usually takes 4 to 6 weeks from when it's sent over to the city for processing. We will inform you of when funds are available and provide you with closing documents to complete. Please understand that unless DPD has granted an extension of time, applicants who do not complete each stage within the required phase time limit will be disqualified. A maximum of 2 extensions will be granted with DPD's approval in case of unavoidable delay due to extraordinary circumstances. DPD, not Summer Corps, also may, on a case-by-case basis, grant a grant eligible application an additional amount of time to complete any program requirement. In such case, DPD shall have discretion to determine the appropriate length of the extension. What is the requirement to deem a project completed and receive grant funds? Once the project is completed, you will be required to provide Summer Corps with proof of payment documentation for review, which consists of the sworn statements, invoices, copies of the canceled checks, and waiver of liens. Summer Corps will complete a final site visit to confirm that the project is completed, and you are required to submit copies of the building permits. We also make sure that you don't have any debt to the city and your property taxes are up to date. Then that information is sent to the city for processing, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks. And the grant payment will be received by check. Please note that this project refers to non-escrow projects. What resources are available to help? You can visit our website to access resources that would help you through the grant program. We have a list of resources that include lenders who lenders who have assisted previous SBIF recipients and are familiar with the program. There are contractors, technical assistant providers, and small business resources that can be used as a tool to help. Please get to know your local delegate agencies. These organizations are assigned to assist small business owners in the SBIF districts opening this month. You may be familiar with these organizations. If not, please reach out to them and introduce yourself and let them know your plans for the SBIF program, and they will assist you accordingly. Here are a few more organizations listed. Please be advised that this presentation will be emailed to those who have attended today. For the April open SBIF districts, we are accepting applications until May 2nd at 5 p.m. That is the cutoff time. The districts that are open for new applications are 47th and State, 107th and Halsted, Greater Southwest, East and West, and South Chicago. Please be advised, applications for these areas will not be accepted after 5 p.m. on May 2nd. When you send us your application via email or fax, please allow 2 business days for Summer Corps to confirm receipt of your application via an email response. If you do not receive an email confirmation within this time frame, please follow up with a message or give us a call. Also, applicants are responsible to ensure that we receive their application during the acceptance period. Here is a sample project that was completed by Packet Corporation located at 9165 South Lakeshore Drive in the South Chicago TIF District. Packet has completed 3 successful projects with SBIF and currently has 1 under construction. Some of the work they have completed thus far is a new roofing system, windows, and light retrofitting. And their current project consists of an interior build out. What additional documents should I have to hand in? What additional documents do I need to hand in along with my SBIF application? Here is a list of documents that will be requested from you in order to complete your application. Please note that these documents are not required to be submitted with your initial application form. We just want to give you an idea of the required documents that you will need to submit depending on the type of applicant you are. What are the financial requirements to participate in the SBIF program? The SBIF program is a reimbursable grant, so project participants should be prepared with financing to support the permanent building improvements. Proof of financing is not required until stage 3, but applicants are encouraged to contact their business lender or reach out to one of the lenders listed on the Summer Corps website in a timely manner. Grantees may choose to receive their grant funds through an escrow account. DPD, in its sole discretion, may authorize up to 3 draws of funding from the escrow account to reimburse an applicant as work is completed on the project. Any fees associated with the use of an escrow account will be taken out of the grant award. Are startups or new businesses eligible? Yes. Most startups can apply. Startup applicants will need to supply a detailed business plan and projections of the business's income and expenses for its first 36 months of operation as part of their application materials. The City of Chicago reserves the right to impose additional conditions for funding in connection with the startup business application. If you only have been in business for 1 or 2 years, Summer Corps requires tax returns and a projection of gross sales to equal 3 years of data. Please note that bars, taverns, hotels, and motel applicants must have held their applicable license and been in business for at least 1 calendar year. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that one, sorry. Am I eligible if I live outside of Chicago? The important consideration is where you have your business or property. To participate in SBIF, your property must be in the City of Chicago, and as the funding source comes from the City of Chicago property taxes. If you live in another area, please call your city's planning, economic development, or community development department to see what other programs might be available to assist small businesses. What if my building has both business and residential space? The program is primarily for business use, but there are some mixed use exceptions. For these buildings, many envelope projects such as roofing, facade improvements, and tuck pointing can be eligible. Will there be enough SBIF funds for all applicants? Each tax increment financing district that has a SBIF program authorized in it has limited funds reserved for the program. If the demand for the SBIF funds is greater than the available funding supply, then a lottery will be conducted to determine the order in which each grant application will be accommodated. If any surplus funds become available, they will be allotted to waitlist applicants. Applicants for a property located in an Invest Southwest corridor shall be given priority for funding and the lottery. Applicants for the property located in a target corridor shall be given second in priority for funding and the lottery. The remaining applicants shall be shall be provided funding if available and placed on the wait list if applicable. After the applicants in the Southwest Corridor and target corridors have been accommodated. Is there SBIF funding available in my district? Every SBIF area has its own budget that the city refills if the TIF funds available, if it has TIF funds available. If there is a demonstrated need for more grant money, email the Summer Corps team to see if there are funds available in your SBIF. We also maintain an interested party list for funds, which also sends an email which you can also send an email in order to join. When more funding becomes available or the city accolades more funds, we will let you know. The interested party list helps the city of Chicago gauge demand for additional funding. What if I'm in a TIF and not in a SBIF? The tax increment finance, Tax increment financing is the mechanism that funds the Small Business Improvement Fund. If you are in a TIF district and it does not have a SBIF, please contact your alderman. Here is our contact list for the SBIF department and the program director at the Department of Planning and Development, Nora Curry. I would like to thank you all for attending this webinar today. And as a reminder, a link will be sent out to you for a replay for today's presentation. Now we will proceed with the Q&A session.
Thanks so much, LaTanya. And just a reminder for everybody here today, if you have any questions, now is a great time to put it in the Q&A box below. LaTanya, you know, I always like to start this out with one question I always have on hand, which is, what are the most common challenges that applicants run into when applying for the SBIF program?
One of the two that sticks out to me would have to be obtaining financing. Sometimes it can be challenging because people don't give themselves enough time to find the right lender that's suitable for their project, as well as being able to find the right contractor for their project. As we know, with a lot of things going on, it's very hard to find a good contractor and being able to provide the documentation within the requested timeline.
I appreciate that. So this is an important question. And the question is, do you have to wait until your SBIF district opens to apply? Can you only apply when your SBIF district is open for applications?
Yes, only because when the district is open, that's when we have funding available to move forward with any applications received. If there's a situation where we receive an application outside of the TIF district timeline, the acceptance period, we wouldn't be able to move forward with the application. So instead, we would end up putting you down as an interested party and reaching out to you when funding becomes available for that district that you applied for.
I appreciate that. And just a reminder for everybody on the call today, we will not be using the hand raise feature. If you have a question, please put it in the Q&A box. The next question for you, LaTanya, we know there are a couple of different grants available for small businesses right now. Can you respond to the question, can you receive a SBIF grant and an NOF grant at the same time?
Unfortunately, these cannot be combined at the same time. What we would suggest is that it would ultimately be up to the applicant to determine which grant program is more feasible for them, or not even feasible, which grant amount would be more feasible for them. Because one might give you more money than the other, but it's just determining which route you would like to go in order to make that decision.
Right, and I believe also if you receive during two different maybe cycles, perhaps maybe receive a SBIF grant for $50,000 at one point and eventually apply and receive NOF, that the money that you received for SBIF would be taken out of your total funding available from NOF as well, correct?
That is correct.
Right. I actually had a great follow-up question, which is, so if your district isn't open right now, but you know you want to participate in the SBIF program, aside from looking to see if your district is on the on deck list for 2022, because we do have every district that's currently planned to open in 2022 is listed, what can you do in the meantime to get ready to apply for SBIF?
I would say you can sign up for our monthly SBIFgram, as well as you can email us and we can put you down as an interested party and reach out to you once funding becomes available for that district to open for us to accept your application.
And this is Nora joining back in. I would also say in preparation while you're waiting for your SBIF to open, you could get your project, your paperwork together. Make sure that your any debts you have to the city are paid off. You will need to finance a project and get reimbursed on the other end. So you will need some financing for your project. So you'll want to start talking to your bank about that. You'll want to you could even start getting together bids for your project, because the more prepared that you are when you apply, you don't have to have all of those things together when you submit your SBIF application. But if you do have it all together, and you're all ready to go, then you can, submit once you get the approval. Once you get Summer Corps information, you will have your things ready to submit to them. You won't have to wait that whole time that you have to resubmit, and then you'll get your project done faster. Summer Corps will respond to your speed. If you're going faster, Summer Corps will go faster too, and you'll get your project done that much faster. So you can start getting those things ready. And that's one of those things that you can be in touch with me at DPD. You can be in touch with Summer Corps, or we really recommend you talking to your delegate agency in the community about getting your business and your project ready to apply for the program. And there are really a lot of things you can do as a business to be ready to go.
Thanks, Nora. And actually, since I have you here, would you mind sort of giving a little bit more information about Invest Southwest areas and sort of the role that they play in the SBIF program and in the selection process as we go through the lottery?
Sure. And there's another question I want to respond to as well. The Invest Southwest areas are areas of priority that the city has identified where, it's hard. I don't even want to say priority because every place is a priority, but they're sort of the first stop where we've chosen where there are certain characteristics being met, where there are anchor institutions, where there's maybe a CTA stop, where there's a community group, where there are a number of factors that make it an area that's an Invest Southwest corridor, where the city is sort of focusing in its investment in an effort to really show a big change over a short period of time, and in the hopes that will that distinct impact will kind of ripple out to the rest of the community and show as like a pilot program for other communities. Once those Invest Southwest communities are, once that example has been set, after a couple of years, we'll move on to additional communities and have the same kind of concentrated effort there. So, so they've identified these specific corridors. There are already existing commercial corridors throughout the south and west side, and the way that the SBIF program is supporting them. The SBIF program, of course, is a non-competitive grant, meaning if we have the funds and your project, that the applicant and the project qualify for SBIF, you will get the funds. But, we don't pick winners. We don't say, I like this project, I don't like that project. However, in support of the Invest Southwest area, in the case of a lottery, if we need to randomize our applications to choose which projects go first in the review process, we will put the projects that are located in the Invest Southwest corridors first. And in the case of the areas that are rolling out in April, the TIFs that have Invest Southwest corridors are 107th and Halsted and South Chicago. So folks who are located in those areas could be located in an Invest Southwest corridor. And if you are, in the case of one of those lotteries, you'll get first pick. You'll be picked first in that lottery, or that group will be picked first in the lottery. The other folks will be in the second group. That's the only one though. It's you just get your application gets reviewed first. There's no other priority that goes to those folks. But that's an overall city initiative. I also wanted to answer the question. Somebody asked what other grants are available aside from SBIF and the NOF grant. I wanted to mention there's also the Chicago Recovery Fund grant, and that is available citywide. I am not sure what the next announcement of that is, what the next rollout of that is, but I can put in the chat the website for that. And or you can simply Google Chicago Recovery Fund grant and it'll pop up how you apply for that. But they are offering both small and large grants for business projects throughout the city to do things that are very similar to SBIF and NOF to improve your businesses. They're using federal recovery funds and need to move very quickly with those. So the closer your project is to being ready to go, the more likely it is to get chosen for that program. So as I said, I'll add that to the chat so you can grab it.
Awesome. Thanks, Nora.
Mm-hmm.
Shifting back to LaTanya, we had a question here, seeing as how this is a reimbursable grant, if somebody doesn't have the funds to do the entire project at one time, can you talk a little bit about phases in SBIF and how that works?
Sure. So if you're in a situation where you have, let's say, half of the project costs for your project, we can actually split the project into phases where you do so much and then you would get reimbursed up to 3 phases. So it just depends on how you want to split it up, but you do have that option if you're unable to fully fund it from beginning to end.
That's great. That kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off on that regard. We have somebody who specifically asked, if they're a licensed general contractor, are you allowed to perform the work on your property as a SBIF grantee?
So in this case, yes, you can, but there's a lot of things that we look at to make sure that like we don't cover certain costs for anyone that is operating as their own general contractor. But it's one of those things where we will look further into it as we get to that point to make sure that there's an understanding of what we can cover as far as the work and what we're unable to cover as far as any like overhead fees or profits.
Great. Can you, let's see, another question that we had here was if you actually don't, if you haven't already completed the purchase of a building or don't have a lease in hand, is there something else you can provide to show intent of actually having site access or site control? Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Sure. So if you're in a situation where you are trying to purchase the property, we will need at least like the sales contract. But before we can request approval for your project, you will need to have site control before we can move forward with seeking approval.
Got it. Can you talk a little bit about property, if a property has building violations, how does the SBIF play into a property that has building violations? Can you use grant dollars for that?
If they're cited violations on the property, you will not be able to use SBIF funds to make those corrections. But if there's any other work outside of that, we can cover it. We just can't cover to make any, we'll fix any violations that may have been cited on the property.
Got it. So can you talk a little bit about when SBIF districts open up? You know, let's say, for example, there was a district that opened last year but isn't open this year. Can you talk about some of the factors that come into play as to when a SBIF district opens up, and is there anything that people can do if their district is not open and they're really interested in having funds?
Sure. So first, if a district is open currently or is scheduled to open, that just means we have funding available set aside for new applications. But if there's a situation like, say, after the district was open last year and is still not scheduled to open, that means we probably have a wait list for that district from the last time the district was open, or there's no additional funds approved for that district for us to reopen it. In the situation where you're interested in applying, but there's no funds available for you to submit an application, usually we would suggest that those interested applicants reach out to their alderman to see if there's something that they can do about providing funds to those districts.
Great. I had two questions here talking about delegate agencies, how you find your agency for your location, or if you have somebody that can help you apply. And I just wanted to quick go back in the slideshow here to just back here. This is for if you are interested. First thing you do is you go to the Summer Corps website and click to find out if you're in the properties in the SBIF district. This website pops up, you enter in your address. And then as you can see here, this will tell you not only what district you're in, it'll tell you the rollout dates, meaning when applications will be open and accepted, as well as the contact information for your delegate agencies. So I just wanted to put that up there really quickly so that folks can see that. And let's see. Another question that was interesting was just asking that as someone is working through their SBIF project, if they have any issues when it comes to inspections or licenses or other things, can they be in touch with their project manager for assistance?
Yes, I definitely would recommend that. Summer Corps is used as a tool to help small businesses get through the process from beginning to end. So the best thing you can do is reach out to us, let us know what the situation is. Either we would be able to help you resolve that situation or point you in the right direction of who you need to contact in order to get like the proper licensing, figuring out what type of licensing you need in regards to like making sure that your inspections and everything is set up. We'll be able to point you in the right direction with that.
That sounds good. I'm just looking to see other questions. We talked about this. I think we actually, this is, I see that Nora's typing an answer, but I think it's worth it. I think that SBIF and TIF have the unfortunateness that they sound very similar, but they actually, the acronyms are Tax Increment Financing and Small Business Improvement Fund. And so the question was specifically, what's the difference between TIF and SBIF? And I was wondering, LaTanya, can you sort of just unpack that as like what a TIF is versus what a SBIF district is and how they work together?
Sure. So the TIF, which is Tax Increment Financing District, is pretty much like the, well, don't get.
You want me to answer this one?
Yes,
Latanya?
please.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'm
Like
so
I
sorry,
haven't,
Latanya.
but
It is complicated.
It's
This is a great
complicated,
question.
but yes.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. You can answer it in a complicated way, but it's not so complicated. It's the TIF is a planning, it's a district where we capture the taxes within the neighborhood and then reinvest them only within that neighborhood. And it is a funding mechanism. So it is an area, it lasts for 23 years. We draw a line around this area, and any tax increase we get, we reinvest that into that community. And what it is for SBIF is it's simply the funding mechanism for the SBIF program, the Small Business Improvement Fund. When the TIF earns enough money that there is funding for SBIF, or if it's an appropriate place for SBIF and that there's a commercial corridor and industrial corridor, businesses that are in need of this funding will request funding for it, and then we'll be able to roll out SBIF funds there. So it's really just the source of the funding for the SBIF program. TIF is the larger program. It is a state law, tax increment financing. So some of the things that we can and can't fund with SBIF are laid out in that law. So we're constrained by what we can do by that state law, even though it's a city-run program.
Right, and not every TIF has a SBIF.
Yes.
Which is always, I know, could be tricky. But when it comes down to any of these questions about is my business or my property in a SBIF district, we can go back to the locator tool that we actually, the city of Chicago just recently launched and updated. It's really great with the map, or just contact us and we're happy to look it up for you. So I think that was super helpful. I appreciate that. I don't think I have any new questions that we haven't answered here. I do just want one more reminder that everyone will be receiving an email with a link to this PDF of the presentation, which is great. If you also like to watch the video version, it will be hosted on DPD's YouTube page, so you are also welcome to see it there. Otherwise, I wish everybody the best of luck in applying, and we look forward to seeing your applications. Thanks, everybody.